Hey everybody, I thought we'd talk for a little while and hang out just for a little bit. I want to know some things, and the only people I know to ask are you guys, the fellow fighters in this revolution, fighting out there next to me. Kyle says impeachment is going down. 3 top officials are resigning and testifying. Wow. Well, would you look at that? That's good. I mean, that's great. And, but what about the stuff that was uncovered? What happened with that? What's going to happen to Biden? Is anything going to happen to Biden? Isn't that part of the story important too? I mean, I understand that maybe he broke the law getting that information the way that he did. They're testifying right now. Right on. I'll have to check that out right after the feed. It's funny how a lot of times, right when I decide to do something, there's something big going on. I should probably scroll my feed and find out what's happening in the media before I do this stuff. But usually it just hits me to do it, And when I looked up for live streaming, I've looked up tips and tricks and stuff like that. And they always say that the best time to do it is whenever it's good for you. There is no good time. I've tried researching when there are good times. I've tried experimenting with doing it at different times of the day. There's not really a good time to do it, It's just whenever's good for me. It seems to be the truth. So I just go on whenever it's good for me, and I don't pay any attention to what's going on Facebook. I used to worry about stuff like that. I used to avoid going on when certain people were on or when certain things were happening, but not anymore. Not anymore. I don't even think about it, but I will check that out after. Thanks for telling me about that. And that's interesting. But I think that the rest of it's important too. Like, can't we talk about what was uncovered? Or is it off limits just because of the way that it was uncovered? I think the treason that was displayed that Biden committed is important too. Kyle says, I'll always have a soft spot for Uncle Joe. Really? I don't. I think I thought he was funny during the administration. I liked the Joe Biden memes. I liked all the joking and stuff. And, the little memes were funny. But he has a terrible voting record and a terrible past in politics. I mean, he's not fought for the issues that are important to the average people. He's not fought for anything that is going to help us. I don't see him as an ally. Then he has a real creepy past. He's definitely at least got serious issues with personal space. If you want to be as nice about it as you possibly can, he's got a creeper problem. And I get that he was pushed and promoted as the cool Uncle Joe during the Obama administration, but we were also misled about a lot of what was going on during the Obama administration. Things weren't on the up and up. The media wasn't telling us what was happening, and they weren't reporting on the things that were going on the way they are now. These things were happening under Obama. Obama bombed more people than any other president in the history of our country, including George W. Bush. He was a wartime president. He presided over 8 wars. We were at war the entire time he was in office, and it just wasn't focused on. Now they show you all this images. Now they show you all this stuff. They show you the kids in cages, etc., because they want to rile you up. They want to get you afraid of Donald Trump, because all they want to run on is we're not Donald Trump. But all of this stuff went on under Obama. This stuff is not new. And our problems aren't new. And I don't think that any politician, some of you know I host a political show. I'm a burner. But I don't even believe Bernie can save us. We've got to do this. And I had the little picture up with the little girl, no future. I had that up in the beginning of the show. And this is, I think that's a Bansky. I'm not even sure. But this piece of graffiti is really deep. It really touched me when I first saw it. And I shared it when I first saw it. And it was a couple years ago. But I've used this picture a couple different times because it's just so powerful. This little girl sitting there holding a balloon with no future. And they really don't have a future, and they won't have a future if we don't do something. I no longer even care what it is that you're going to do as long as it's something. I just don't like the people that I follow on Facebook and social media that talk about giving up and not doing anything, just quitting, laying down, taking it. I don't think that makes any good sense at all. That doesn't make any sense to me. To not vote. They think that it's stupid to vote. You know, they mock me for my participation in voting. And I get it. It's a rigged system. It is corrupt. I understand that, of course. But what are we going to do if we don't take over the system that has power over us? If we don't do what we can to overturn this greed-driven system, then what are we doing then? Well, what are we going to do? We've got to do something. And even if you don't take an interest in politics, politics takes an interest in you. Politics is in control of your life. So don't we have to be involved in it? Don't we have to fight and do all we can? Isn't it our responsibility to make sure that our children and our children's children have a future? That we're leaving them a world that is worth something? That's our responsibility, isn't it? I believe it is. I believe we owe it to the future generations to make sure that there's a sustainable future in place for them. And this current greed-driven system is not sustainable. This cannot go on. This cannot be allowed to continue. This will destroy us. It will destroy our whole way of life. It really will. If we allow it to continue, if we allow this greed to go on unchecked, it will end us. So we can't do that. And they're showing weaknesses. They're showing kinks in their armor. Like I titled this episode EDKH. Does you want to take a guess at what that stands for, Kyle? Everyone should know what it stands for. I've been seeing it go around on social media. And it seems like everybody knows the truth of this, but the media is still doing a damn good job of hiding it, aren't they? Stands for Epstein didn't kill himself. EDKH. Been seeing a lot of funny memes, and that's good. I'm not putting down the memes. I like the memes. That's good. That's the way you spread truth. Spreading truth through comedy is one of the best ways to spread it because it opens people's minds up. It drops their defenses. So the memes are awesome. I'm not saying they're not. But what are we going to have to do to get through to people? Like with the WikiLeaks. With the WikiLeaks. I realized the media fought us on that. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Eric. Good to see you guys. I'm paying attention to the watch party comments because the watch party comments don't feed into the main feed on Be Live. They got to figure that out. Be Live, figure that out. So, but I can see your comments. I'm watching that on my phone. And then I hope you don't mind me hosting the watch party in your group. But I felt like it was fitting. We're talking about the future. And I hosted the watch party in Bernie or Vest. And that's what the situation is. Even if you're not pro Bernie, you've got to know We've got to do something because there is no future if we don't. There will be no future if we don't do something, and we have to own it. We have to do it. We have to understand that it is our responsibility and our job to do the work and make this change happen. Because if we don't, it will not. It will never take place. That's a fact. So no matter whether you believe in the political revolution, what Bernie Sanders is doing right now, or maybe you stand with QAnon. I'm interviewing a guy tonight. He's very active politically, and he's a follower of QAnon and Donald Trump. That's his fight. I'm going this way. He's going that way. We're going to compare ideas and see why he feels the way he feels. I clearly don't feel that way, but I would like to understand it because he's a very active person. He is fighting. He does care. He wants change and progress. And he's going to try and explain to me tonight how the QAnon and the plan and Trump will lead us to progress. I'd like to hear that. So come and hang out with us tonight. These are the kind of conversations we got to have. You know, congressmen and senators are not the only ones that have to reach across the aisle. We've got to reach across the aisle too. It doesn't do any good to stay locked in an echo chamber. You can't reach anybody in there. You know, you might be angry with me. I'm the Bernie guy. What am I doing hosting a show with a QAnon guy, a Trump supporter? What am I doing that for? Well, because this is all a diversion. Politics is a distraction. They divide and conquer. They break us up in little groups to make us easily manageable. Now, Nick, who I'm interviewing tonight, would probably agree with me about this, but we get into these religions with our political support. We get into these teams, right? And you can't question the team. Don't question the team. There are Bernie supporters that won't let you ever question Bernie. I question Bernie all the time. Bernie's just a man. Bernie's just a man like any other man. I think he's a good man. I think he has great intentions. I agree with most of what he does, most of what he wants, most of what he's trying to do. I agree with, but I do not agree with all of it, as I'm sure that Nick probably doesn't agree with everything Trump does. But for whatever reason, he believes that's the way to go. And I want to know why. I want to, and I'll have a chance to explain to him why I disagree. You see what I'm saying? And we'll all get a chance to talk. And I think it's going to be great because there's going to be Bernie people there and there's going to be Trump people there. Maybe there'll be fights in the comments. They'll be arguing and bickering back and forth. But some people are going to get truth sprinkled on them. They're going to hear something that they wouldn't have heard otherwise because we stay locked in these teams and because you can't question the team. Like what I was saying, Nick would probably agree. A lot of Trump supporters, you can't question anything about Trump or they right away, you don't trust the plan. You're not on our side. You don't believe in Trump. No, I just want to know this one thing. You know, we got to be able to hold these politicians and these leaders accountable. It doesn't make any sense to just allow them free reign and let them run wild. That doesn't make any sense. That won't work. What is that going to do? You got to hold them accountable. And we all need to have a discussion about what's happening because it affects us all. We all have common enemy. No matter what side of this fight you're on, we have the same enemies. Kyle says, look how far burners have moved the political discussion talking points. Don't tell me political participation in voting is not important. It is crucially important. And I realize the system is rigged. I realize it's heavily flawed. I realize it needs massive reform. But none of those things are going to happen until we make the change. Until we take it over, overwhelm it with our numbers, take it over, and change it into something that actually works for the people. into something that benefits everyone instead of a percent of 1%. We have socialism currently in this country. We do. It's just for the rich. We have socialism for the rich in a big, big way. They are not afraid of socialism when it's for them. They're not afraid of socialism. They've always called any advancement in society socialism. You know, you like your Social Security, right? You plan on retiring one day, right? That's socialism. You know, you're being led to believe that you need to fear a word because it equates with breadlines and, all these fear tactics. Well, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about full blown socialism or communism. It's democratic socialism. I have the link to Bernie's speech on democratic socialism, and it's on my Facebook page. I downloaded it, or uploaded it rather, to Facebook so that it would be easy for everybody to just go to my page and look at it. And just one more way for it to be out there. And just because I wanted to share it, because I think it's one of the most important speeches ever, because he explains that what we're talking about is a society of justice, a society for the people, a society that benefits everyone instead of endless war and corporate greed. And it has to happen. It has to happen. We can't wait for a better opportunity. We're not going to get a better opportunity. The fight is happening right now. And I believe we can win. Like I said, I host a motivational Bernie show. I believe we're going to win. I believe we are winning. I believe we're going to do everything we need to do to make this happen. But we must. We really must. And I wonder sometimes, like, what would happen? I don't want to think this way because we are winning. We're crushing it. But, let's talk big picture for a second. What if it fails? Then what? Will the American people fight back? Do you guys think the American people, the average American, would rise up? Like, I shared this in Bernie or Vest because we're going to talk about what happens if we get to Vest. You know what I'm saying? What happens when we land on Vest? Will we do it? Cynthia says that was such an amazing speech. It was. And he's fully embracing it. People say he needs to shy away from the socialism thing, that he needs to get away from the socialism. But I think he needs to fully embrace it because people need to be informed. And that's what he's great at, is informing the people. And that's why I like him so much. And because he empowers the people. He tells you that you got to do it. He can't do it for you. We've got to do it. And that's why I love Bernie. That's why I'm such a supporter of Bernie and the movement and the revolution. I'm a supporter of the revolution because the revolution has to happen. It really does. And I feel like no matter how you feel or how you land politically, that it needs to be important to you and you need to get involved in this fight. And we can bicker about the little details later. We, the people, have to make massive change. Massive change. Because Epstein didn't kill himself. And every one of us knows it. And we're sharing funny memes and we're putting EDKH and everything and laughing about it. Not laughing about it, but making fun so that we can point out and bring exposure to it. Like I said, comedy's good for doing that. Comedy is great for spreading the truth. A lot of truth comics like Carlin and Hicks and Kinnison, they were very effective at planting seeds of truth and changing public perception and changing the mindset. Richard Pryor even, because they sprinkled it in humor. People's guard are down. They're more willing to take things in. Your cognitive dissonance and your belief system often closes you off from taking any new information in or any new ideas. You kind of get stuck in your ways. But I just want to know, there is an awakening happening. There is right now, currently in this country, in this world, there is a massive awakening. There are people rising up all over this world. The media is hiding it, but there are massive protests happening all over the world because things are bad everywhere. The elite, I'm going to stop calling them the elite, by the way. Let's all stop calling them the elite. They're the predator class. These predators, they will never reach their fill. They will never decide that they've had enough. You know, Reagan put this trickle down into effect where we were going to cut taxes on the rich and their wealth would trickle down. It would benefit us. But that's not what happened. No. Instead, they get yachts that park inside of yachts, nesting doll yachts. They have more money than they'll ever spend. They could live, Jeff Bezos or the Walton family that own Walmart, could live 100 lifetimes, spending every day like they're living in Brewster's Millions and never run out of money. They have the kind of wealth that is like a dragon in a Tolkien novel. They're lording over piles of gold. They are literally Scrooge McDuck. They'll never self-correct. Their greed will never self-correct. They'll never have enough. They'll never go, all right, guys, it's time to trickle down. Our cup is finally full enough. We've had enough. We're going to share. We're going to give it back to you guys now. I'm going to pay into society now. Jeff Bezos is never going to decide, hey, you know what? I use society. I benefit from the education system. I benefit from the transportation system. I benefit from every bit of society, but I don't pay into it at all. So I'm going to start paying in. You know, under Bernie's tax plan, Jeff Bezos would pay $9 billion in taxes. He paid zero in tax. Did you? I didn't. Jeff Bezos did. Paid zero. You know, and 9 billion may seem like a lot to you, but the man made over 100 billion. You understand? You got to look at it in that way. All right. You made whatever. I don't know. We'll go with what I made, 20-something $1,000. And I paid taxes on that money. But Jeff Bezos didn't. I paid 1% of my income in taxes. Automatically comes out of every check. I got no say in it. And then at the end of the year, because I'm a single man, I always owe. You know, because I could take more out of each check, but I don't because I need that money right now. So I just end up with a couple $100 bill every year in taxes. But Jeff Bezos doesn't. You understand? We have welfare and socialism. We just have it for the rich. And we have a lying media that forces us into a position where we have to make memes trying to inform people that Epstein didn't kill himself. There are doctors and pathologists out there screaming right now to anyone that'll listen that he had multiple breaks in his neck, multiple fractures consistent with strangulation, not hanging. You know, that's if the man's even dead. Do you understand that that's even a possibility? That's not outside the realms of possibilities. That's not even a crazy thought. This was a very powerful man that was running a sex ring for the elite, the predators, the monsters that lord over us. He was heavily protected. He was allowed to get away with this for decades, and everyone knew about it. I live in rural Missouri, in the middle of the state, surrounded by cornfields. And I knew about Jeffrey Epstein. I knew about the Lolita Express. I knew he had an island. I'm not in the FBI. I'm not in the CIA. I'm not intelligence. I'm not a cop. I knew all of that. It's public information. Everyone knew. But how did he get away with it? And where did the story go? So he killed himself. He didn't, but let's just say he did for a second. Where'd the story go? We still have all these victims. We still have all this evidence. We still have a madam running around. Why is the case gone? What happened? Camera just wasn't on. Who's believing this? Who's believing this story? How are they getting away with this? When are we going to wake up? Not us, not you and me, not the people that would watch this show or sit through this. The regular average person. Will they? Will they ever wake up? I don't know. I want to believe they will. I want to believe we'll do what needs to happen. I want to believe that we'll fight through the lies and fight through the propaganda and fight for the truth. But a lot of times I wonder and worry that we won't. I just waved at a few of you guys in the watch party because I don't know if I'm supposed to or not. It always asks you to wave. And I'm nice, I'm friendly, and I appreciate you guys watching, so I'll wave at you. I'm not too good to wave, but I'm not going to poke you. If you're on Facebook, don't poke. That's weird. I don't even know what that means. Every time I get poked, though, I feel weird. I feel like creepy Uncle Joe just whispered in my ear. Cynthia says working people are too poor to travel abroad, but if they could see how it is in social democracies like Denmark, where I live, people would be in the streets protesting. Yeah, they would. They would. I didn't know you lived in Denmark. That's fascinating. I'd like to hear more about that. But yeah, they would. It's hidden from them. Just like EDKH is hidden from them. Just like WikiLeaks are hidden from them. Just like the truth is hidden from them. You ever seen that movie, They Live? It was an 80s movie with Roddy Piper, and he got these special glasses. And whenever he put the glasses on, he could see reality for what it really was. We live in that movie. You know, he would put the glasses on, and then a billboard would say, obey. You know, instead of being a picture of whatever, it would say obey, or it would say sleep. It's subliminal messages. That's real. We have that. That's used widely. They admit they use it. They even know what colors make you respond best. They've done scientific studies on the human race. They have us down. They have controlling us down to a science. And that makes me wonder sometimes if we're doomed. You know, me and you, we've rose above it. We've looked behind the curtain. We've realized that we're being lied to. But what is it going to take for the average person to do that? The average American. And you got to remember, the average American is very spoiled, and reality is hidden from them on a level that is going to be really hard to fight. The average American is victim to a weaponized media, a propaganda machine that has distorted reality and changed it into something that bears no resemblance to what's actually happening. If you turn on the news and look out your window, you're going to see two very different realities. But the news is made to change and mislead public perception. In the 50s, the CIA took over the media in an operation called Operation Mockingbird. That has since been declassified, and you can look it up. And their express purpose was to make sure that everything the American people believed was false. And they've succeeded. Because Epstein didn't kill himself. He didn't. The camera was off in his cell by accident. No one heard or saw anything. The most protected prisoner in the country. One of the biggest cases going on that implicated a list of names that would blow your mind. Presidents, politicians, billionaires. Gone. Just gone. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Hang somebody from a 4-foot bunk bed and you can make something just disappear. A whole sex ring. You know that was only one of the sex rings that he was running. He had a whole island, a pedophile island. And Bill Clinton flew there dozens of times, ditched the Secret Service to go on this plane dozens of times, more than 20 times. Donald Trump flew on this plane. Well, they all say they didn't know. They all say they didn't know. But didn't Bill Clinton also say that he didn't have sex with that woman? Can you believe anything that he says? And then the artwork that came out of Epstein, the raid, what they took from Epstein's house, he had paintings of these people. Bill Clinton in a blue dress. George W. Bush sitting on the floor like a child, playing with 2 crumbled Jenga towers with airplanes. They laugh at us. They think we're stupid. And a lot of times they're not wrong to think that. Because what do we show them? Not you and me again. Society as a whole. What do we show them? We show them that we will, for the most part, keep our heads down and stay quiet. And there is a mass awakening happening. Like I said a little while ago, I don't want this to be negative. I don't want it to sound like I'm saying we're doomed. I do want to know what you think. And I think it's weird that the comments stopped. But what do you guys think? Are we doomed? Is humanity doomed? Will we wake up in time? Because I think the noose is closing in on us. I think we're running out of time. People act like we have unlimited amounts of time. It's just going to go on and on forever. But it's not. We're on a collision course for disaster here. We really are. And I don't want to see us reach that. I don't want to see us get to that point. I don't want to see us living in a dystopian nightmare. America will eventually cease to be what it is now. We're being protected from how bad things are, from the reality of the situation. It's being hidden from us how bad things can get, how bad things are going to get. And again, not me and you. It's sad that everyone has a computer in their pocket. We are walking cyborgs. This is the age of information. Everything that I know about Epstein and Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and Pizzagate and all this stuff is public information. It's out there. You can go and look at it for yourself right now. And you and I know that, but the average person stays willfully ignorant. The average person never takes that extra step. They listen to the media, and the media says, well, Pizzagate is ridiculous. So they never look into it. They never look at the WikiLeaks because CNN told them it was illegal to look at the WikiLeaks. Told them you couldn't. Said that it was against the law to look at without a crash. You can't talk about stuff like this. That's why I didn't title the feed Epstein didn't kill himself. I titled it EDKH because I would have been shut down right away and throttled, and we never would have had any viewers if I would have titled it what it needed to be titled, you know? But maybe it's my computer. A lot of times I feel like I'm being paranoid, you know, that they're not really trying to shut me down. Who would be attacking me? I'm just a regular dude with a camera and a microphone running a little show from my computer. They're not worried about me. I don't concern them, you know. There's no CIA guy assigned to me. I'm not that crazy. But it is weird. It is really weird how, I did a feed and I titled it Petting Kittens. And I sat here and I pet a kitten for an hour and I talked about crazy stuff. Never got messed with. But if I title the feed Julian Assange and the truth about WikiLeaks, nothing but crashes, nothing but stuttering, nothing but throttling. It's ridiculous. But let me know what you guys think. It looks like comments are coming back now because now I got a new comment from Cynthia that I just put up. But it is stuttering still, and I'm having trouble with certain features. But that's okay. This is a paid service. My OBS works better for streaming, but this one I can do cool things. Like I can put your now. That's two crashes. That's a little uncommon, but we'll continue. We've only been going for about 40 minutes, so we'll go a little longer because I got more to get out. I got more in my notes. But I hope we wake up. I hope we wake up before it's too late. And it's not that far from being too late. We're not that far off from being past the point of no return. I don't want to see us get there. So I'm trying to do all I can to share the truth. But, people that share the truth, people that try to tell the truth, people that try to get the truth out there, that's not always a really good idea. They don't meet very good ends. They usually meet unfortunate ends. Like my hero in the truth movement, William Cooper. He wrote a very good book called Behold a Pale Horse. And he used to host a radio show called The Hour of the Time. Spread so much truth that it got him killed. Gary Webb, Martin Luther King, hell, even John Lennon, I believe, was killed because he tried to preach peace and tried to tell people that love was the most important thing. They don't like it when people are trying to push the population in a direction that they don't want us to go in. They want us focused on what they want us focused on. They want us going in the direction that they want us in. They don't like dissenting voices. This war against fake news and throttling stuff like this and suppressing stuff like this and suppressing the truth. That's what it is a war against the truth. It's not a war against fake news. They don't care about fake news. There's been fake news ever since there's been news. It's called entertainment, and it's always existed. They don't care about that. That's not what they're trying to stop. They're trying to stop stuff like this. We're trying to stop people from making those little memes about how Epstein didn't kill himself. But keep making those memes. Keep taking advantage of this stuff while we have it. This platform, like Facebook, fantastic platform. It is controlled, it is censored, but what other platform do we have to do something like this? What other way could I talk to you guys like this? How could we gather without this? And yeah, it'll go away if we don't defend it. They're already trying to chisel away at it. They've realized what we can do with it, the power of it, and they're trying to take it away from us because they don't like for us to have any power. But we just can't let them. We got to hold on to this stuff and use it to the best of the ability we can. So, yeah, they're memes and they're funny, but they are spreading truth, and I love them. So keep making those memes and spread that Epstein didn't kill himself. Make sure that story doesn't go away. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take focus away from it, trying to make everybody forget. But that happened already. That happened with Pizzagate. It was proven in the WikiLeaks. It was real. And it just went away. And this is going away. And it scares me because stuff like this, like the truth about 9/11, the truth about a lot of these things is what would unravel their power, what would take them down. If you help the average person understand that a massive sex ring was covered up with one little suicide, they would be outraged. They don't even know the whole story. The media made no attempt to inform the average person what was implicated in this Epstein thing. Who was implicated? How big this actually was. They made no attempt to accurately report this. It's our job. It's our job. And right now, that's how we fight back. By spreading the truth. The truth is the only thing that's going to stop them. It's the only thing that's going to help us push this society and this world into a positive direction. To help us make change. To help us stop this greed that's lording over us and this evil network, cabal, whatever you want to call them, that have bought and paid for our whole society and control it. The only thing that will stop them is us stopping them. And I think that right now we fight by spreading the truth. I would like to hear from you guys, though. There's 40 people here right now, and I'm not getting any comments. So I want to hear what you guys think. Will we rise up? Will we do what needs to happen before it's too late? Or are we doomed? When we live in a world where the media can make a story like this just disappear, just vanish, are we safe? Is our future safe? Kennedy, one of his last speeches, pleaded with the press to do their job, to play their role in our government. They are supposed to be the fourth wall of our government. That is what the media is supposed to be. That is their purpose. But that's not what they do. That's not what they are. That's not what they're about. They're about misdirection. They're about misinforming people. They're about misleading. Kyle says, yes, I can envision victory and utopia. And we have to. Thank you. Thank you for making this positive. I didn't want to be a downer. I want to believe we're going to win. I do believe we're going to win with this revolution. And I believe in it for a couple different reasons. One, we have the momentum. And two, this is the way change takes place. always has been. And people have been struck down and give their life to try and tell the people that, to try and empower the people. Because that's what we need to do. We need to realize our strength is in our numbers and in our unity, and rise above this division and rise above this misinformation and rise above all these distractions and move forward united and make change happen. And I think we do that by spreading the truth. And another person that really needs us to spread the truth right now and raise our voices and get involved and fight is Julian Assange. Because the media is doing a very good job of convincing the average person that he is a Russian spy and that WikiLeaks is a Russian organization. They are terrified that average people, that more than us, that regular people will start looking through those WikiLeaks and really read them. Really start asking themselves questions like, what are these fantastic pizza places that the rich are embroidering napkins, handkerchiefs with pizza maps on them, having $100,000 pizza parties? Talking about pizza with hair. Come on now. Quit being ridiculous. Quit letting the media convince you that something that's happening isn't happening. Comet Pizza was probably a distraction from the very beginning, a way to make it look ridiculous. They're not stupid. Think about that place. Think about their Instagram. Did you see that Instagram? That was a creepy place. I think it was on purpose. I think it was a distraction. It's real, though. It's real. This stuff is real. It exists. I worked at a truck stop, and they used to train us on what to do if we saw children being trafficked on our lot at a truck stop. It's real. And to turn a blind eye to it is to allow it to happen. And to let the media convince you that this isn't happening is allowing it to happen. So yes, you've been brainwashed. You've been convinced that it's not happening and that it's not real and that it's ridiculous. But at a certain point, you have to take some responsibility. You're staying willfully ignorant if you aren't aware that Epstein didn't kill himself, that a massive sex ring is being covered up, that implicates powerful elite people, predators that are draining our resources and killing our planet and doing all they can to destroy society just to benefit them, just to add some zeros to their bank account. They'll never stop. They'll never quit. We have to stop them. And I want to know that we'll wake up. Someone tell me we're going to wake up. Not me and you, society. Because it's our job to wake the others. It is the job of the woke, the responsibility of the woke to wake the others. They're not going to wake themselves up. And follow independent media. I just got an alert from RT. They're covering the protests in Chile. The media doesn't cover that stuff. The regular mainstream media doesn't cover that stuff. There are uprisings happening all over the world right now. All over the world, massive uprisings. This is happening. It's being hidden from us, but it's happening. The people are rising up everywhere. We need to join them. And like I said, I shared this in the Burn Your Vest movement because to me, that's where we're at. If this fails, this political revolution, if this doesn't work, then I'm throwing on a vest. I'm leading everybody to throw on a vest, and we're heading to the streets. Got to make change. I owe it to my children to make change. You know, I brought them into this world. I'm responsible. I'm only one person. You're only one person. We're all just individual people. But together we can do this. Together we can make change happen. Sound like somebody hit my house. Together we can do this. If we would just realize our power is in our unity and in our numbers, we could rise up and take the power back. So let's do it. Let's wake the others, shake them awake. Because I don't want my grandchildren to have no future. So keep making those memes. Keep spreading the truth about Epstein. Spread the truth about Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. Inform people that Julian Assange is not a James Bond supervillain, super spy. He's a journalist, what journalists are supposed to be. Sitting in a prison cell meant for terrorists, for spreading the truth. The truth that some very powerful people didn't want anyone to know and have done a fantastic job of getting no one to look at. Even telling them it's illegal to do so. It's ridiculous. And the only thing that's going to stop it, the only thing that's going to make change is us doing it, us rising up and us making it happen. So let's do that. We're on our way to doing it. And however you feel politically, I believe that this revolution that is going on right now is the way to go. But maybe you feel differently. I'd like to hear why. Tonight I'm going to interview Nick Reeder, and he's a Trump supporter. He believes in Trump, he believes in QAnon, and believes in that path. He's a great guy. I would love to hear why he thinks that, why he believes in that fight. I know why I believe in the fight I'm in, but we need to rise above this division. So having this conversation with Nick tonight is going to be a good opportunity to do that, to reach across the aisle and say, hey, how do we move forward? How do we get some progress out of this? How can we even work together maybe? Because we have a common enemy. We are all fighting the same people. The thing is, we just disagree on little details. If you really think about it, that's all we disagree on is little details. But they've got us broke up in these little groups to make us manageable and easy to lead. We can rise above all of that. We can get out of it. We can make change. So let's do it. Let's wake these people up. Let's shake them awake. Get them to realize that we can do this. We can make real change happen. Or we won't have a future. This little girl will be right. And I don't want that. So these big things, Jeffrey Epstein, the truth about Jeffrey Epstein, the whole story, spreading that. Julian Assange, protecting the truth, getting the truth out about the WikiLeaks. Let's start sharing those again. Start getting those out there. Start spreading the WikiLeaks around and helping people realize, look at this. Look at this. Really read it. Really ask yourself if that makes sense. Think about it. Get them to think. We have to make them think. People don't want to hear the truth. They don't even want to know the truth. Your average person really kind of likes being misled. They don't want the responsibility that comes with being informed. Because once you're informed and once you take responsibility for this and once you realize this is on us, it's our job, then it becomes just that. It becomes a job. It becomes a responsibility. You have to do something. You can't just not do anything. So they would rather stay ignorant, sadly. They would rather stay oblivious. We're going to have to shake them awake. We're going to have to get them to wake up and make them realize that the time is now. There is no better opportunity. There's no time to wait. There's no reason to wait. We need to do all we can, and we need to do it right now. So let me know how you feel. This isn't my political show. So comment and let me know. Maybe you feel a different way. And, there's people I talk to that I'm friends with that believe that voting is stupid. Explain that to me, please. Because like I said earlier, even if you don't take an interest in politics, politics takes an interest in you. It has control of your life. So how does not participating in it make any sense? And how does that make any change? And what do you think we should do? We got to do something right. So we need a plan. We need to do something. We need to do something together. And hopefully, in the conversation with Nick tonight, I'll be able to find a way that Trump supporters and Bernie supporters can work together. There's got to be a way. If we can get past these little teams and these divisions and the idiocy of voting for somebody just because they have a certain letter next to their name, we can make real change. We can. We need to stop thinking that we can't and start owning the fact that we can. We can do this. We can make this happen. This Be Live thing here wants me to celebrate. Do you guys want to see what happens when I click on celebrate? It may crash the feed. I don't know what it'll do, but let me know. Do you guys want to see? Let's see what happens when I celebrate. I want to see what it does. I just want to play with my toy. Just give me 2 seconds. Let's see what this does. But come back tonight at 7 for the Daily Burn. We do that every night at 7 p.m. Central. All of these times are Central times. And then at 8 o'clock tonight, on my timeline, where you are right now, we're going to have Nick Reeder on, Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and he is a QAnon supporter and a Trump supporter. So we're going to talk to him, and we're going to see why and what makes him tick and what QAnon is about and all of that. And hopefully we all learn something. I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. But okay, so that's what Celebrate does. Celebrate is basically an ad for Be Live. So Be Live, you owe me a little bit of money. I'm paying you. I'm not paying you to give you free advertisements. You know what I'm saying? But thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you at 7 for the Daily Burn and at 8 for Conspiracy Theories and Chill with special guest Nick Reeder. Talk to you guys later. Spread the truth. Epstein didn't kill himself. Get it out there. Keep making those memes. I love those memes. Those are great. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. See you later.